We have a little bit of everything on the list. Russ is going to get pissed at some point. We got to get into it right now. Happy Friday, comic book fam. Oh, it feels so good to be back. We have one camera.
I know. It's crazy. That's okay. It's baby steps. It's like it was a year ago. If you remember us a year ago.
Shout out to CBSI comicbookinvest.com for hooking us up with the Hot 10 Comics list every single week. We put this list together so we can release it for the comic book community every single Friday. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our content. But Russ, we got to jump into this list.
Number 10 this week, we have the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge number 3. This is the 1 in 25 Casper Wingard variant. We've seen these ratio variants on this list before. Last summer, we were seeing the Star Wars Last Jedi number 4 1 in 25 variant. That had Admiral Holdo on the cover.
Those
Honestly,
are spiking too.
They spiked last summer and they hit 60, and everyone was talking about how they were coming down. In this last week, that book is still selling for 60. There were 3 confirmed sales in the last month at 60, 60, and 70. So when I tell you that this book 2 weeks ago was $13 and then $25 and now hitting 60, this sounds like a very familiar number. This seems to be a logical place where some of these ratio variants for Star Wars are landing.
At number 9 on the list, I'm actually really interested to see what the community thinks about this being here. We have Spiderman Adventures number 8, a book that I think a lot of people aren't going to recognize. Adapts the Spiderman Adventures episode 7 that came out in 1995, where we see a retelling of how the black suit came to be. Remember, Secret Wars didn't get adapted in a cartoon.
No.
Instead, the alien is brought back to Earth, hitches a ride with Peter, and then within an episode, Peter loses it to Eddie Brock. Now, this actually is adapted in Spider-Man Adventures issue number 8. Issue number 9 has Spidey lose the suit. Last panel, Venom shot as Eddie gets taken over by the symbiote. And then in issue number 10, we have the first cover appearance. Now, why is this noteworthy? Because this is 1995. These aren't first appearances, right?
Not even close.
We have issue number 8, which came out 3 months after the show. This book is seeing spikes to $50 right now, right? Why is this happening? Because this isn't the first appearance of the black suit.
No.
Well, technically, this is the first animated appearance of the black suit. Okay. If we're going to... bear with me, Russ. Bear with me. I know,
trying.
right? Well, but if we go now to the next book in this run, we should see some spikes, right? Because this is technically the first Venom full appearance, but this book's only going for like 10 to 15.
Right.
People aren't buying this in mass. But issue number 10 is going for 30.
These are prime candidates for my 50-cent bin. I mean, this is the type of thing that you get. I literally put a run of the X-Men Adventures, the Fox TV Kids animated series into my 50-cent bin yesterday. I get Spider-Man Adventures books in, and I put them in there because there's nothing I'm caring about. I mean, we all know that Batman Adventures 12 we need to care about, and there's other Batman Adventures things, because when that happens, it is actually the first appearance of Harley Quinn in comic books, whereas this is like, okay, it's Venom, but it's 5-6 years after Venom, and maybe he's animated, and I don't really like this. I understand that people are looking for first appearances and they're looking for tie-ins and whatnot, and this is just something that, okay, if people want to collect it and people really like their youth and nostalgia, that's fine, but trying to consider this as a first appearance of something that's actually relevant, I don't really get on board with this.
Let us know in the comment section what you think about this. It could be because of the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, given some more respect to animated features, thus more key events in comic books, or people just reaching. And let's move on to number 8 on the list.
Dark Avengers number 1. This jumped from $15 to $30 this week.
What is going on with this?
I don't really know what's going on. I mean, they made an announcement that they were going to have, a Young Avengers movie and a Dark Avengers movie. And I mean, all of this stuff is supposed to be happening, but this has been a pretty stagnant book for a while.
This is probably one of my favorite dollar bin books that we've talked about in the last year.
Absolutely. I know we've sent out at least 30 copies in the mystery mail call. So it's one of those things that it's just a book that hasn't seen a lot of growth, and all of a sudden it's spiking.
First Iron Patriot, man.
Well, okay.
That's cool.
That's cool. But I mean, do you know something that we don't know? Because
No.
this is something that people are getting behind this book in a massive way, and we are seeing sales.
Didn't you find like a preview to that book too?
I did actually. So there is a Marvel Previews, the catalog that's supplemental to the Diamond catalog, and on the cover is Dark Avengers, and you hold it up and you're like, yep, that is absolutely them. So that's out there as well, and we've seen that selling on eBay for 10 to 15. It's probably more right now.
All right, let's take a look at number 7 on the list. We have Sir Kate's making the list, a repeat offender. We have Venom, Volume 4, issue number 3, the third print, the first appearance of, I'm going with Null.
Sure.
But there is definitely a split in the community. Mm-hmm. We want to know from the community. I'm going to put the poll here. You let us know how it's pronounced, because there is definitely individuals who say it's Canal.
Right.
They're arguing about it, so I like it. This book has now spiked up to $30 this week. Now, looking at this third print, I see this cover. I see him on the cover, and it makes sense to me that this has gone up and is now selling for close to what a first print is selling for. Second prints under that $10 mark. Heck, the San Diego Comic-Con fourth print is selling for 10 to 15 still. So there's definitely an importance to the cover appearance of these characters, and I'm mentioning that now because I'm foreshadowing some conversations we're going to be having here in a second. Shout out to the members of the community who picked up a bunch of Null or Canal variants and first appearances. Thanks for sharing that with us on Instagram. Swinging at the list at number 6, we have El Sorprendente Hombre Araña, issue number 128 making the list.
Okay.
How long have you been following this book,
Oh
Russ?
my God, I've been thinking about this book for the last 3 or 4 months. You were telling me about it, almost 6 months ago. It's definitely one of those books that's been on our watch list, but we can't find copies because they're not out there.
Dude, you said that we think about this all the time, and this is a true statement. I legit think about this book often. It's a weird thing.
Right.
Okay, this issue, at a glance, that Peter Parker is marrying Gwen Stacy, which doesn't happen in Amazing Spider-Man canon.
Because she's dead.
That's right. Well, she's dead.
Sorry,
but
spoilers.
It's spoilers. But in this issue, that was an out-of-canon story that was released in Mexico because it was so popular that they actually had the opportunity and permission, or maybe they didn't have permission. It's a little dicey, this history, to put out these comics. They're out of canon stories that include Gwen Stacy. After some individuals mentioned that this is a story where Peter Parker marries Gwen, and that she actually is kept within the Mexican canon. Now, if you read this issue, that's not what happens. This is actually a daydream. This doesn't actually even happen in the story. So this is literally just a one-off story. It's a one-shot. It's like a what-if comic book. And in this case, collectors don't care. They're after it because it's low print.
Right.
And it appears at a glance, and especially if you don't read Spanish, that this is something that happens. And to a fan of Amazing Spider-Man, a fan of Gwen Stacy, a fan of, those early, very, very key issues.
I have a feeling you're going to tell me a ridiculous number now, Tom. What is this selling for?
$1,400. No number in the title. So like people were like looking for all Hombre Araña titles.
Yeah,
because it didn't pop up. It didn't pop up on my search. I would have seen this happen. Actually had to text Jack. I'm like, show me the listing.
Yeah.
Show me. I have to know, because I've been looking. There have been individuals who have taken foreign copies of this issue. Like there's a German reprint of this, and they've taken the text and pasted Spanish text over it, and they're calling it a German reprint variant of the issue because people want the Spanish version of this non-canon Amazing Spider-Man story. What do we got at number 5 on the list, Russ?
Number 5, we have The Legend of Oz, Wicked West, Volume 2, Number 7, the Shannon Mayer variant. Out of 250, this is going for $125 right now. Shannon Mayer has definitely come back onto the scene. He did a bunch of variants for Big Dog Inc. in the last few years, and they're just really low print run. Indie book. You're not going to find a lot of them. A large amount of them are getting sold at conventions if you go to Big Dog Inc.'s booth. So unless they're coming to a show near you, you're not going to find a whole lot of these books. Now, one of the ones that I really liked was Shannon Mayer had the that deceased variant with Harley Quinn on it. Oh my God. Feels a lot like a Derek Chew thing, but it looks more realistic. Because Derek Chew definitely has that like digital gloss to everything.
Right.
But it looks almost anime, most of the stuff he's working on, whereas this kind of has this digital gloss and feel, but really looks realistic, human, almost uncanny valley. Like I can't,
almost a little unsettling.
Right. Like this looks so realistic. I can't believe it's not butter.
Coming on the list at number 4, we have Black Widow number 1, the J.G. Jones variant. This book was going for $5 just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
Spikes to $80 this week. It doesn't make sense.
There is a Scarlett Johansson photo, and in the background, you can see 2 chairs that say Natasha and Yelena. You know Yelena Belova is hot. You know we're going to see 2 Black Widows in this movie, but there's also rumors about the villain in this movie.
We've been talking about Taskmaster on and off for the last 6 months. A lot of leaks for this movie. And we're seeing sales for Avengers 196, the first full appearance. It's like one of my favorite Bronze Age.
Oh my God,
man.
such a great book.
$1,000 to $1,200 for 9.8s in the last couple days.
Oh, wow. Dig out your boxes, guys.
Yeah, well, I took a look at the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 26, the first appearance of the Ultimate Taskmaster.
And we did a true first on that months ago, yeah.
Yeah, books, saw a spike to like $20, $30 at one point. This book's still only going for like 10 to 15 now. So I think this has to do because this hype behind this movie is just not very strong.
No,
and after seeing these recent leaks, I think we're going to see a big waste. Taskmaster is such a brilliant villain. He's so dope, dude. And these pictures, he looks like a Power Ranger. It's like all of these villains shop at the same place. They all have this almost Iron Man looking like suit. And we don't know if this is Taskmaster, but we're seeing a hood in the leaked photo. And that hood is, that's right there to me is a given. And that's why a lot of people are starting to say like, this is what we're going to get. But the thing is, we know who he's going to fight up against. He's going to fight up against Black Widow. He's going to fight up against Black Widow.
I don't really know. And Hawkeye, because Clint Barton's going to show up. So there's at least 2 of them.
Dude, he's got photographic reflexes, man. I want to see him go up against literally anybody else.
Squirrel Girl?
Dude, anybody else, especially Squirrel Girl.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Let's actually find out how Squirrel Girl does it.
Right.
Right? All
on
right,
screen.
All right, we're going to find out, but not before we talk about number 3 on the list, because we have, this one kind of hit me by surprise here, but alluded to it a little bit ago. We have Daredevil from Volume 7, issue number 2, the second print making the list.
Okay, so this is the first cover appearance of Detective Cole North, whose first actual appearance was issue number 1. So this is one of those things that if he had a super cool mask, I might understand this. If he looked like Null, I might understand this. But no, this is just a detective on a cover, and it's selling for $30 to $40 right now.
Okay, and this is a second print, and just a lot of people didn't buy this book.
Low print run, maybe. I know that I only had 5 or 6 people on the Daredevil book, but still, he feels like a busybody. He doesn't feel like a guy that's actually going to be doing something in the universe. Yeah, he's running around and he's wrapping up the vigilantes and wrapping up, Kingpin, and he's going to do something bad against Daredevil. And it's
maybe he's going to be a villain long term or something, but I think this is definitely kind of that Null type of situation because he's on the cover. It's the first cover appearance. We have a low print count. It's just one of those perfect storms.
It really, really is. But the thing is that we had a ton of fear of missing out in the last Daredevil run.
Good. I'm glad you brought that up.
When we had Vigil come in, Vigil was a super cool looking villain.
Dude, I was excited about Vigil.
I know. And then what ended up happening with that?
It was all in his head and Vigil doesn't even exist.
No. So he made everything up. And he got hit in a bus and he was sitting in a hotel room for 5 weeks while we were waiting for... no.
It's a bummer, but we're going to have to keep following Daredevil. He's making the list. There is some money being spent on some interesting appearances, but I know collectors are going to be weary. They were disappointed with how that run ended just months ago. Number 2 on the list, Russ, how mad are you?
I'm so mad that I am giving a copy away. Kanto number 1 is on the list.
All right, so we're going to be giving away this Turok here pretty soon, so stick with us, comic family. Hit that like button. If you find any value to this content that we do, it does go a long way. We need the community to support us. Kanto, right out the gate, people are buying this. A lot of people picking it up. Being marketed as super low print, and that a lot of them are getting damaged.
And this had buzz. There are a ton of my patrons over on Patreon that were ordering this. I had 6 or 7 people that ordered it.
For an independent book, that's pretty
for an IDW independent book. And again, this was 2 months ago when they ordered this book. So we knew that there was some community buzz about it. But when I got my order this week, I had the dreaded hashtag. And most people don't understand about the dreaded hashtag because when Diamond sends you an invoice list, you have number ordered, number received. So I ordered 10, I got 10. I ordered 7, I got 7. I ordered 25, I got 25. When you see a hashtag, it means they're unable to fulfill what you ordered.
Oh.
I ordered 10 copies of Kanto number 1. I got 8 copies. And all 8 of them were damaged.
All 8. Is this so? This one, it doesn't
one is
look
still damaged,
It
and
doesn't
all
look
of them-
terrible. But what are we gonna do?
Every single one of them came damaged. And normally when I have a damage from Diamond, what I end up doing is I write a polite, sternly worded email written only by natural light to my rep.
It's with an ink pen, like it's a quill.
The quill, right.
He's like,
No,
you get your little stamp.
But I
like,
write
wax.
to my rep. When I have a book that I ordered 10 of and I didn't get every single copy, I was pretty darn sure that even if I put in damage replacements, I wouldn't get a replacement on them. So that's already sad. And then I started getting calls left and right. But every single copy was taken by a box customer. People are comparing it to Wizard of Oz meets Dante's Inferno. It looks really interesting. These are going for $25 now. There's a 1 in 10 variant that's going on eBay for between $50 and $80. That is still fluctuating heavily. But we have a pre-sale of the San Diego Comic-Con variant, which will be available at IDW's booth at San Diego Comic-Con in 3 weeks. These are already pre-selling at $45.
We're at number 1 on the list, the hottest comic book of the week. This happened quick. We have Marvel Comics Presents issue number 6 making the list. This is the first appearance of Wolverine's Daughter. At least that's what it's being marketed on eBay in title listings. But this is a book that's already days after Wednesday going for $30 to $35.
I was getting I opened at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was getting calls at 11:05 asking me if I had copies.
You sent me a text at 11:06 telling me this is going to be
This
on
is
the
going to
list.
be on the list because I knew it was going, it was buzzing, it was crazy. And then the onion unfolded a little bit more. Everyone was like, oh my God, it's Wolverine's Daughter's first appearance. So many people ignored this because a lot of times the Marvel Comics Presents is kind of an anthology that's stuff that's not in canon, that no one cares about. They're kind of throwaway stories. And this whole Marvel Comics Presents 1 through 6 has been roundly ignored.
True.
Well, it was so roundly ignored that when they announced that number 6 was his daughter's first appearance, all of a sudden people are like, no, wait, she's actually in 2 pages of number 5.
That's right. Yeah, this is a character that was revealed to be Wolverine's daughter in number 6. But yeah, you look at issue number 5 and this
She's in there.
character is there. Now, we're expecting possibly maybe a name or a little bit of a character backstory, maybe some type of origin
Sure.
in issue 7. So people are already speculating on issue 7.
I buy a lot of Marvel books. I have a lot of people ordering things. I got 4 copies, and all 4 of them went to boxes. Thank God they weren't damaged.
A little buzz went a long way for this
And
book.
that's kind of it. This is just a book that not a lot of people are ordering. And yes, this is a low print run of something that is massive.
Yeah, but here's another thing to consider because now that we know that this is Wolverine's daughter, we now have confirmation that the person narrating this whole story is this character.
Oh, she's the one who's talking in this panel. Okay, so the square box that's with the yellow back.
Issue number
That's
1.
been since issue number 1. She was narrating. She's the first voice you see in the first panel of issue number 1. So Wolverine's daughter has been narrating Marvel Comics Presents the whole time.
All right, and if we're losing you here, I just got to throw out 2 words for you to consider. If that just sounds like, hey, that's information I don't need.
Right.
Immortal Hulk?
I know. We already did a breakdown of Immortal Hulk and how there was, the green dust and there was his teeth and there was his voice and there were so many little tidbit appearances.
Spike.
Well, I mean, we've also got books. What number 3 is the Conception. I mean, we've
I know. We're going to have to keep an eye out on this. CBSI, comicbookinvest.com, they're going to be too. Because if this is a character that lands, we've seen some other characters' daughters make the shelves, but none of them have really caught on. I'm thinking of Princess Fisk, but I'm also looking at Lobo hitting the screen now. So maybe Crush has some.
Crush has buzz, but J2 Juggernaut's kid does not. Some of these get traction, some of these don't. This looks to be a popular one, and I, for one, think this is great.
All right. Thank you so much to the audience for watching our video today. Hit that like button before you leave. And also want to give a big shout out to our winner from last week's video, Dude. Who won this awesome copy of Turok, some Comic Karma that we sent out? Thank you, Russ.
And that's Dude, D-O-O-D, not Dude, Sweet, Dude, Where's My Car?
Dude. Love that movie.
I know.
Comment down below. Let us know if you got anything fun this last Wednesday at your LCS, or just like type something down there so you can participate in the community and possibly win this issue of Kanto. A strong find a VF copy.
Yep, absolutely.
And last but not least,
Geek responsibly.
Enough said. Okay, so this is basically what happened. I'm on stage with Chris Claremont. We're getting booted off stage. Like the convention hosts, they're not looking at us with very kind faces. Jay, from Jay and Silent Bob, and the rest of the Mallrats crew, they're waiting to go on stage. And yeah, I wouldn't let them because I wanted to ask Chris Claremont a question. And if you click this video, you can see what I asked. It resulted in them having to go to an entirely different convention hall. Worth it?